we're here with our final shot for the day of Southbox's version of 2Techies. We're here in Philly, and I'm here with the Southbox founder, creator, ideator, genius, close friend, one of my mentors. I literally stalked down on LinkedIn. All things are possible, just try. Went from stalking him on LinkedIn to becoming a business partner in a venture firm. All within 2 years. Well, three now.
Yeah, it was 2014.
Yeah, 3 years. But it was all worth the journey. He watched me grow, and growth has happened. But here with Jon Gosier. So Jon, you're gonna tell everybody about you, but I want to jump right into it. When did you fall in love with tech?
I fell in love with tech when I was, I guess when I was like 8 or 9. My mom bought her first computer for work. It was an IBM PS1. And she brought it home and she just set it down and she was like, help me figure this out, which basically meant figure this out. And, you know, it was just part of the mystery of opening this thing and then trying to figure out how to set it up. And then like, the thing about computers, the thing that I love about technology is like, usually when you buy something, taking it out the box is the best part.
Right.
With a computer, like taking it out, getting it set up, you've only just begun. And so like the whole path after that, learning how to get on the internet. Well, back then it was I forget what they called it. Like you could just dial in, like AOL online, and Prodigy, and like you could just talk to other computers and BBSs, and then in CompuServe, and then eventually the internet became public, and then you could get on the internet. Figuring out all that, learning how to code, learning how to play video games.
Yeah,
it excited me.
That's dope. And if we literally just open up the box, Pandora's box of what are you actually doing, tech and innovation, that could turn into a whole show. So let's focus on Southbox today, because that would be never ending. But in Southbox, what are you now doing in tech and innovation with Southbox?
So I've worked on a lot of things over the years as a technologist, as an entrepreneur, as a founder. And someone said to me, actually people have said to me a lot of, frequently over the years, you know, like, you seem to be someone who likes to start things, like, and that you're good at it, and the things that you start seem to do well, even if you aren't there anymore. And I thought about that, and I was like, I wonder if there's a way to turn that into a business. And I've worked at funds of all sizes, funds that I've started, funds that I've raised, funds that I've helped people raise, and then a fund that I joined that was pretty well established. And so I took those skills, my skills as an entrepreneur, and that knowledge about being a serial founder, and I was like, let's try to make starting startups a business, and couple it with the VC knowledge.
The funny thing is, two things. Your team, almost, well, Ali, when we were able to interview two of the portfolio companies. They were both very focused on teams and the impact they left on people. Yeah. Which sets well with the company culture you've developed out of the box. So congratulations on that.
Thanks.
The second one would be Brian Burkeen came to me and he said, if I had made over $100 million, he said, I would come back to you and give you $10 million and just lock you up in a room and let you create all your ideas and make it happen. And it seems like you've made that room that Brian has come up with. You're literally taking your dreams and your ideas and finding other people to cultivate them with and make it into a business.
Yeah, I think I agree with the sentiment of which he's saying that, which is like people should just have the freedom and the resources to, you know, realize their ideas. I've just never been the person who was going to accept that it took $100 million.
Yeah.
Like when I had $2, I'm like, I'm gonna do it. Like I don't. It makes me. I get ants, you know, when people tell me I can't do something. I'm like, watch. Like I'm.
For every reason, you're not gonna make that happen.
Yeah, and I might not do it, you know, the best, and I might not do it to the degree that, you know, changes the world. But I'm gonna get in the room. You know, I'm gonna at least try and get close enough that people will respect the fact that I tried. That I'm happy enough with that. I don't need to win. I just need to, you know, do it for myself to know that.
But it seems like that experience transpires into so many different elements and qualities about you, though. Like if you're willing to fight to get in the room, that means you're willing to learn the things that it took to get in the room in the first place.
Yeah.
All right, so I need the people to get to know some things that I know about you, but I will say craft beer, craft cocktail, but I know it's a craft cocktail. But if it's a craft cocktail after 5, what's the drink of choice?
After 5 is usually Scotch neat.
Okay.
Oban, Scapa, some of my favorites.
That was the one I meant to write down that you gave me. Oban.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oban.
Yes.
Oban.
Yes.
Cocktails, usually like a Moscow Mule or Manhattan. Honestly, martinis, I fell in love with martinis because I like that whole, 60s, like Frank Sinatra vibe. I like the music, but I like the culture around it,
I always think of James Bond when I think of a man's martini. I think of James Bond.
Yeah, so I wish I could be as hard as James Bond. I don't like gin, so I always vodka martinis, light on the vermouth. I don't really like vermouth, but otherwise it's just vodka in a glass, which that's a little dangerous. And I don't like olive juice, so I just need the vermouth there for taste. Okay. Otherwise, I'll just start taking vodka.
So, if your business life was based on a movie or a TV show, and we plugged into you, what would we be watching?
Wait, repeat that question?
Your business life.
Yeah.
Southbox and the other 10 companies.
Yeah.
If they were based on a TV show or a movie that would best represent it, what would we be watching right now?
Wolf of Wall Street.
The legal version of
the legal version. No, I mean, I think something like what happens at Southbox is I find I came up with this morning. We either start companies, support companies, or scale companies. What does that mean? We either find people, or we either have ideas that we want to create here. Mm-hmm. People find us and they want us to help them create something, or they're already doing something and we just come in behind them and support them. And so, in terms of what you would see us doing is we just formulate, we've got a core team, we surround these companies and we just try to help them grow. Okay. And it's much more hands-on than most venture funds. Most venture funds give you money, they're like, good luck. Right. This is not that. We're trying to really add value.
And then it's not even as much so the money with the resources. They literally just give you the money and hope you figure everything else out. And they gamble on so many because they only want a couple of them to hit. Well, they want them all to hit. But if a couple of them hit the right way, it makes up for the other failures. But your goal is you just want to see everything succeed.
Yeah. And you also have to be patient. It's almost like artist development. Right. A&R, when at a record label, you don't just come out the gate with all your artists. You figure out, okay, this one's ready. The market loves his music or her music, and everybody's clamoring for going to shows. So you respond to the demand and you push that artist out there when they're ready. Another artist might be great, might have a beautiful voice, might be, you think they're ready, but for whatever reason they aren't. And you have to cultivate them to the point where they are. And for companies that, at least that we create or that we co-create, that's what it takes. It's sometimes you have to tell people to just put it on pause for a little while, right? And then we'll get to it when it makes the most sense.
Do you think your experience in the music industry helps you see things that way?
Absolutely. I mean, I always wanted to be in the music industry. I always wanted to be using data and analytics to better understand what works and what doesn't work. I've never worked on that side of the music industry in that capacity. Right. But it's very similar to me, it's very similar to venture capital. Oh, sorry. To me, it's very similar to venture capital, but nobody else thinks of it that way. Right. I do. I think of all of these little companies as something that I'm helping to build with the team that's in place.
So what do you think are like some of the current struggles or the biggest struggle you're dealing with right now?
The biggest struggle, I mean, so far things have gone pretty smoothly. Like I didn't start this looking to raise money. I mean, we're now getting interest from outside investors. But when I started it, I was like, I'm just going to use my own money to do this because I don't see very many funds taking this model. And I know why they don't. And I've kind of learned how venture capitalists think. And so, and then the other thing was like everyone was quick to say, well, you can't do 10 companies at once. And I was like, well, yeah, like I, as an individual can't, but as a team and as someone who knows how to manage people and talent, absolutely can. Because all I need to do is put the right people in place, the right money in place, the right connections, and they can just grow. So
it's different divisions of an overall umbrella company.
Yeah.
I mean, they may be doing totally different things, but Johnson & Johnson is a good example of that. I mean, they make a lot of different things, but that company can operate. And plus, I just get tired of people telling us what we can't do.
Yeah.
I'm more comfortable with you saying what you feel uncomfortable doing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see how I could run 10 companies. That's great. That's what you do. Because I look at a lot of people, I don't see it. I could never make it to work every day or 4 or 5 days out of the week at 8 o'clock. At this point in my life, I would be fired. Or I would have to go in and renegotiate. Like, look, man, I'm just coming in at 10. you might not like it. I'm gonna get here. And then I might leave early because I'm gonna get everything done. So I'm not gonna sit up here and sit around and pretend there's other stuff to do.
Right.
So if I'm done at 3:48, I'm leaving at 4.
Right.
And I'm still coming in late the next day. So yeah, I couldn't have a job. So I know as a data scientist, I know Wounds is doing great, and I had a great conversation with David earlier. Red Queen, I think, is definitely on that verge. That's just going to be a tune-up. But what do you think were one of your biggest milestones, even if not with Southbox, but maybe just a milestone in your technical career when you knew that you had kind of crossed over from the guy trying to the guy that's now doing?
I mean, I think the first time that I personally crossed that threshold was when I realized that, no one is going to no one's going to give you credit for what you don't give yourself credit for. And in fact, some people will take advantage of that and they will take credit for things that you did and accomplishments that you made. And I used to beat myself up. Oh, I'm not this, I'm not that. I haven't made this money. I haven't, done I haven't sold a company, all this kind of stuff. And I was at a conference with a lot of very affluent people, and I was in a conversation. I was just beating myself up, and the guy I was talking to was like, "Oh, I guess I don't need to be talking to you then." And he just walked away. You know what I mean? Like he believed me.
Wow.
Like I was talking negative about myself, and then someone believed me. So at literally that moment, I was like, "Wait a minute!" Like all the things that I had to do to get in this. It was at TED. And I don't remember who I was talking to, but it was...
Oh, when you were doing your TED Talk.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been a couple of times, but I was talking to someone powerful or whatever, and I'm down on myself, and they, they don't know me from Adam, and they can either believe the story that I tell them that's negative, or they can believe the more optimistic version. And it's like, it's that simple. And a lot of people make the mistake of doing what I used to do, which is like, you think you're being real, you think you're being... honest about where you are, but really all you're doing is putting forth all the negative stuff because not everybody's going to see it that way. Right. Everybody who works for you, they probably don't see it that way. If they did, they wouldn't work for you.
Right.
They see a much more positive picture. And so I can't, started using the term recently. To survive as an entrepreneur in the tech game, you have to be pathologically optimistic. You always look for the upside, the positive side. It doesn't mean you have to believe it, but it just means just look for it because people will throw negative stuff at you anyway.
All day, yeah.
You'll get that from the world. You don't need to do that to yourself. And in terms of what you put out there and what you're trying to convince people, the last thing you want them to do is be convinced of the negative stuff.
That's true.
So just don't even put it out there. Let them convince you of the negative stuff, but you just have to keep pushing forward on the optimism.
That's big. We've talked about this on and off record, so I don't expect a overly long answer, but I do have to get your response for the format of 2Techies where we're at. Diversity inclusion.
I just don't. I think you can psych yourself out thinking about it too much.
That's and even on camera, and I know a lot of people would notice and a lot of people will see this. I would normally ask people how they would fix the problem, and I have this question that I go into, but I think you're one of the people that are actually trying to fix the problem. You're just actually making the actions, and the actions automatically solve or they show themselves. But in that approach, what's one thing that you would like to kind of fine tune in the industry? Not really within yourself, but just one thing that you would like to see fine tuned.
Honestly, I think it's content where people are, where there's where more people get to see the examples of what's working and how it works, and they stop hearing all the reasons why it shouldn't work.
Right.
Like I was on a panel recently, and it was about diversity. It was at Propelify in New York.
Okay.
Like 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, I remember that post.
And the challenge is like, we're talking about all the challenges, all the things that are wrong, all the things these people won't do or those people won't do or who's not getting hired. And I'm just like, you just got to get to work and just, I don't know. I'm sick of talking about all the reasons why stuff can't happen.
And I think that was one of the things, and you're talking about it with content, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to start creating content.
Yeah.
But it was like, after the creation of the content, and I was explaining to somebody, when we get off the camera, the only reason why it's hard for me to believe the things some people say is because I've seen you repost a viral video with a cat or a dog. I've seen you comment on celebrities that I never meet, but even the person that interviewed you, you won't share and repost that comment to build a viral thread of positive content. And you actually are saying that you want to make a change. People
avoid controversy. People are, they don't want to put themselves out there and around a lot of things. But I think it's right. One of the things I said on the panel was, you don't need to talk to any person or any company about diversity. It's obvious before you even open.
That's true.
Before you raise a question.
They've showed it already. They've shown their cards.
They've hired who they wanted to be in the room. And if you are literally so oblivious that you didn't notice, you hired a 100% ex staff, you probably shouldn't be in charge of that company. So what I'm saying is, like, own whatever it is. Like, don't say it's an accident or we couldn't find the people. Just own it. Like, we wanted these types of people here. I know that's what you're saying without saying it. You don't have to hide it,
Right. And you're not going to fix it by giving me a curly haired black woman as your VP of diversity, but she has no hiring control or any kind of power to change any policy. That doesn't fix it.
It sounds like you're thinking about someone specific.
It's about 5 companies. It's about 5 companies that follow that exact mantra. And I'm like, so she got an office and you just fly around the conferences to talk about your new diversity and inclusion program, but she can't hire nobody. She can't come in here and say, hey guys, this final select.
She can't fire anybody.
At all. And she doesn't have any shares, so she doesn't even go to the meetings.
No, it's all marketing.
All right, we're past it. So the world is yours. This is actually gonna be very interesting to hear from you. World is yours, unlimited time, unlimited resources, from a mentor. One person alive. Who's your mentor?
I mean, it's probably a cliche answer, but for me it would be Barack Obama.
Okay.
And it's not for... I've been someone who has admired the way he speaks.
Yeah.
The way he represents himself. Politics is business. In his business, I don't have all the same, feelings about religion and all that kind of stuff. But he's just a classy dude. He's smart, he's savvy, and, I just respect what he does.
Could you imagine him a CEO of a tech company and just like what would come out of that company?
I think we'll probably see it happen.
Think that's where he's going?
Yeah.
I can see that. All right.
If not tech, financing tech or something.
I just want to see him continue to do something. Like, it's one thing to look up to a person. It's another thing to look up to a person that's just cool, all around bad, beautiful wife, beautiful children.
Yeah.
Like, he just defines to me the definition of what a man should be.
I mean, that's a good point. You know, when I get intimidated thinking about I don't have any kids, but thinking about having kids and having to help them manage, you know, navigate the world.
Right.
And I don't think anyone could have been put in a harder place to raise two girls than on a public stage through their teen years.
I was about to say through the roughest years of their life. I mean, you got one through college, graduation to college, and the other one is just right there 2 years out. So
right at a time when I don't think anybody would disagree that it's become really difficult for all kids, but I think particularly because of media and bullying and, you know, just some of the things going on, I think it's particularly difficult for girls.
Yeah, peak of Trayvon Martin riots and just a lot of tension that we thought we had surpassed came back in the years that he was in office.
Yeah.
And to still be the man that he was through that whole process was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I like that. So there's always a soundtrack to life. If your life was a song or even an album, what would it be?
Album.
Or it could be one song.
I would. One of my favorite albums is the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. I think that would be my soundtrack.
I just wish she could have made at least 3 more of those.
I know, right?
Instead of just one.
Or anything.
And I wish she could just show up on time.
That album will come 30 years later.
Yeah, right. Lauren just released an album. We knew the release date was set for 2020. In 2025, she's finally... All right, so in this game of tech, I think one thing is, I hope this content, like you said, you put the content out, we were talking about this earlier, you put the content out, content lives forever. And we know people are buried in devices that are 5 by 3 inches and we live our life there. So somebody's watching this and they say, that's what I remember. What's the legacy that you want to leave behind for Jon Gosier?
I mean, it goes back to something that we spoke through at the beginning, which is like, when people tell you that you can't do something, 2 things have to happen. One, you really have to it just has to activate you. You have to almost get angry that someone even dared say that to you.
Right.
So one, having that confidence to believe that you can at least attempt to do something competently. And I say competently, that goes to the second thing, which is you also have to check your own ego and know what you don't know and what you can't do. At least for me, doing things isn't necessarily about doing it all myself. Mm-hmm. It's about, let's get it done together. And that's why I often work with teams. I don't always have to work with teams, but I respect the fact that I don't know how to do everything. I don't want to know how to do everything, and I don't feel I necessarily should even try to do everything. But what I try to do is I try to fill gaps. You know, I'm very self-critical. I stop talking about it, but I'm always thinking about it, and I'm like, who can I surround myself with to make up for these gaps? Mm-hmm. You know, I can be a social person, but I'm not really like a natural extrovert. I was an introvert who became extroverted so I could do the stuff that I wanted to do. And so like I like to work with people who are social. Like it helps. You know, they go into a room and they can just naturally have a conversation that I wouldn't even think to have.
And just enhance this thing.
You know?
So, and these are rapid fires for you because people are going to ask these questions and I don't want them to have to call me or send you a text about it.
Yeah.
Southbox.
I'm going to link to it on the content.
Right. Southbox, is it only going to fund companies in Philly?
No.
Okay. Second question is, for the outside investors, if they're looking to put money in the Southbox, is that possible?
Yes.
How big is this fund going to get, or do you have a cap of how big you want the fund to become?
There's no cap, but we're not raising a lot of money.
Okay. Good answer. It makes them know. Can't corner us. Is there any particular kind of companies you're looking for, or just great companies in general?
Great companies, usually either supplementing companies in the portfolio or in spaces that we're not in.
Are you taking any more companies in the year 2017?
Probably not.
Okay.
Probably not.
So those are the primary questions that I know everybody's gonna ask me. So now you know, you don't have to hit me up and be like, ask Jon this. I'm gonna be like, go watch his interview. So we got through that. I put you in the hot seat. So don't want to do this, especially since you're my business partner. But I always get to ask you questions. So for once on camera, you get to ask me a question that I now have to answer.
I mean, you also have done a lot of different things. What's something that in your lifetime you want to do, or a business you want to be in that you haven't done yet?
A business? We talked about this, so I'm gonna say it. I would love to make films. I can't even put it into a category, but just something that's funny but just educates. And I would say a film with like a Quentin Tarantino, American Gods kind of feel, something that the content is great, but thematically it's just beautiful. It's almost like a work of art. I see things in my head that I know can only be created in video content. You know, just the shots. Like I want somebody to be able to come back and say, hey, Mike created that shot. Like how Spike Lee had the walking shot.
Yeah.
Like that's a Spike Lee shot. If you see that in a movie, you know Spike shot it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what kind of movie he does.
Yeah.
Spike has that shot somewhere.
Yeah.
So I would almost want to do film and have that Michael Hall shot. It could be an angled shot. It could be a high saturation, but I would love to do film.
Yeah.
Almost documentary educational, but it comes off like a movie. So by the time people finish watching it, it was so entertaining, they didn't realize how much they learned.
Yeah.
To like the third time you watch it and you're like, oh, that's what he was saying.
Yeah.
That's what I would want to do.
That's cool.
Because me and my mom like watching movies together. I want to make my mom proud.
Yeah.
So that would be my thing. So I want you to close us out. Well, I know how to get in. So it's JONGOS everywhere. just you
One
can
of the
find
benefits of being old,
Yeah.
you were around when a lot of these things came online.
That's any social media platform. Just JONGOS. That's for Jon Gosier. You can find him everywhere.
However, there is some dude in like, he's like in Singapore or something. And I don't know what Jon Goss means there, but it's all like, I get all these notifications because I have like you know, when someone mentions your name.
Oh.
And so I get all these things and it's like all this like, I don't know.
But strategically, that had to work out with you for data analytics because you're constantly getting tagged, even if you're not meant to be tagged.
Yeah, no one can understand what is being said around it,
But it does.
Myself. But it does say at Jon Goss all over the internet.
Hopefully it's positive.
At least 70% of it is me, but there's
The rest of it.
30% is not.
On the launch of Southbox.
Thanks for supporting Southbox.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So close us out with one word that's going to take us through the Memorial Day weekend, man. What's the one word?
Hangover.
That's how you do it. No more needs to be said. It's been a great time in Philly. Thank you for the support from my team back in Miami Digital Grass. Thank you greatly to Technically, Chris Winky for coming out. Also, a big thank you to the Knight Foundation for even giving me this opportunity. If it wasn't for the Knight Foundation, and actually even you telling me about the Knight Foundation 4 years ago, I wouldn't know about a lot of this stuff, but humbly appreciate it for all you guys' support. Remember to share the content. We can't do nothing if you don't share. Likes mean a little bit, but a share means about 50 likes. It means a lot. So share the content. We appreciate your support. We'll catch you next time. 2Techies.